I think a lot of people have some unfair assumptions about the Pi network, and in this video I want to show you guys why the Pi network is so far away from being a pyramid scheme. There are certain elements of being a pyramid scheme, and the Pi network doesn't have any of those elements. And I want to talk about two of the most common schemes, which are Ponzi schemes and also multi-level marketing schemes. Ponzi schemes are a type of investment fraud that steals a lot of money from investors. The most famous case of a Ponzi scheme is the Madoff scheme, where about $20 billion were stolen and misappropriated for his personal gains. But in this video, I want to talk about a case that's a little bit closer to the crypto world. You guys might have read or watched a video about OneCoin. OneCoin was started around 2015, and it was promoted by a woman called Dr. Rouge. She hosted seminars around the world and touted OneCoin as the next Bitcoin, and she was able to bring a bit of credibility to the project by having a PhD and also having worked for McKinsey. Now this sounds a lot like PiCoin because PiCoin is being promoted as the next Bitcoin, and it's also backed by people with a lot of educational background. But this is really where the similarities between the two projects end. You see, OneCoin was basically asking people for money, embezzling that money, and also disappearing overnight. The OneCoin representative sold educational products to its customers ranging from $100 all the way up to $100,000, and they even hired teams of salesmen around the world to promote the product. We now know that a lot of their educational materials were nothing more than copy and pasted version of actual material, and the coins that these people did pay for were nothing more than empty promises. One of the key elements of being a Ponzi scheme is stealing your money. The OneCoin fraud sold you fake products, and they took your money and spent it on cars, homes, and whatever they wanted to. And not to mention, the creators of this project were a bunch of really sketchy people as well. Dr. Rouge, the creator of this project, was convicted of fraud back in 2012, long before this project even started. And some websites even claimed that the scam was closely tied to the Russian mob. And from what I've seen so far, this is pretty much night and day compared to what we see from the Pi network. The creators of the Pi network all have pretty squeaky clean records. You can find them on the Stanford website, you can take a look at some of their academic research, and you can also take a look at some of the past organizations that they've been part of. But what really separates OneCoin from PiCoin is that the Pi network doesn't ask you for any money. This means that there's no chance for the network to embezzle any money from you, and there's also no chance of this being a Ponzi scheme. In fact, if you take a look at some of their past research, you can see that they're big on trying to use a social collective to make beneficial changes onto the world. And the Pi network is likely to be a project where they're really trying to use a social collective or large groups of people to make a decentralized cryptocurrency. So if you're going to remember anything from this video, just remember that the Pi network doesn't sell you any products, doesn't ask you for any money, and there's no chance of it being a financial scam. Now, even with all this information, people still argue that the network steals your data or wastes your time. But the reality here is that there's no case of your data being stolen, so how can you argue that? And mining Pi only takes about 10 seconds every single day, or if you really want to add it up, about an hour every single year. What this really means to me is that you have the benefit of mining Pi at the cost of a single Netflix movie. And in my head, it's pretty much an obvious choice to join the Pi network and start mining Pi. What we know so far is that the Pi network isn't a Ponzi scheme, but is it a multi-level marketing scam? I want to preface that I hate multi-level marketing scams, and I find their business model pretty predatorial. They target a lot of kids, and they also target immigrants who might not have heard about multi-level marketing scams before. And technically they are legal in the US, but they do sometimes operate in a gray area. This is because multi-level marketing companies are only legal as long as they sell a real product. But sometimes many of these companies don't make an honest attempt to sell their products because most of their money actually comes from recruiting. And this is when a multi-level marketing company truly becomes a pyramid scheme. And it's not surprising why many of these companies get sued all the time, and also why they're banned on most social media platforms. And some people even argue that the Pi network is a multi-level marketing scam, but this is entirely not true. You see, multi-level marketing companies have something called a downline. This means that if you recruit somebody and that person recruits someone else, you can actually get paid for both referrals. And this might actually sound super harmless at first, but what ends up happening is that the very first person who joined will get most of the benefits. And this incentive structure will create the classic pyramid shape, since this means that if you were one of the first persons to join, this means that you don't have to do anything. And one of the key differences between the Pi network and an MLM is that the Pi network doesn't have a downline. Instead, the right word to define the Pi network is actually called referral marketing. Basically, you do earn more Pi by inviting people, but whether or not that person invites someone else will not benefit you. And this actually creates a much flatter structure compared to an actual MLM. And referral marketing is actually a pretty popular way to promote a product. You can think about companies like PayPal, Acorn, and even Uber. And all these companies have used referral marketing to grow their business. In fact, other than a downline, MLMs are notorious for losing people a lot of money. You can think about multi-level marketing companies like vampires who try to suck as much money as they can from you. And this is because they make most of their money from getting new distributors. And it's only a matter of time before these distributors get smart about how these scams work. You see, many of these companies operate like cults. They try to use their power to block out anyone from the outside and also try to use that power to sell you as many products as they can. When you sign up to work as a distributor, you're going to have to pay for the team messaging app, and you're also going to have to pay for books, CD, and even audio tapes, which costs around $200 to $300 a month. And on top of this, as a distributor, or what I call customer, you're also going to have to pay another $300 for the products to resell. And this really means that before you sell anything, you're down about $600 each month. And also you have to be honest with yourself, because where are you going to sell these products? Most social media platforms will ban the selling of multi-level marketing products, and your close friends and family can only buy so much merchandise from you. This is one of the reasons why there's so many groups that are anti-multi-level marketing. Many of these people have lost a lot of money being involved in multi-level marketing companies, and many of them are rightfully pissed off at how they were being lied to. You see, I've seen friends get involved in multi-level marketing companies, and it's kinda sad to see, and many times they're left with a lot less than what they came in with. And the takeaway here is don't join any multi-level marketing companies, and also that the Pi Network is not a multi-level marketing company. The Pi Network uses referral marketing like any other company, and it also doesn't try to sell your product and squeeze every dime out of you. Based on what I know so far, you can't really call the Pi Network a scam. Instead, it looks like an honest company trying to build a decentralized cryptocurrency. Now, whether or not the company will actually succeed, only time will tell. But one thing I do notice is that because of how successful it has been, there's a lot of copycat versions of the Pi Network out there. There's honestly way too many of these companies to include in this video. But if you do decide to join one, know the risk and also don't give them any money. You simply don't know if their intentions are genuine or not, and it's really unlikely that many of these projects will succeed. All I can really tell you is that the Pi Network isn't a Ponzi scheme, and it's also not a multi-level marketing scam. And like I mentioned earlier, Ponzi schemes require you to deposit some sort of money. This is because they're going to use your money for personal purposes. And once you deposit your money, you really have no control where your money goes and whether or not it's ever going to come back to you. And other than a Ponzi scheme, the Pi Network is also not a multi-level marketing scam. They're not trying to sell you as many products as they can, and there's also not a downline. This means that you won't end up like one of these people who lose everything because of multi-level marketing companies. I think there's a lot of reasons why the Pi Network is actually a pretty genuine project. The creators of this project are completely transparent about who they are. It's pretty easy to verify their academic achievements and also their entrepreneurial achievements. And the network itself has behaved in a completely fair way so far. Many people complain that the network collects way too much information on you, but the reason for this is to prevent miners from falsely duplicating their mining rates. And the policy here really depends on where you live in the world. And I also want to mention that many people think that the platform is unfair. But if you compare it to something like Bitcoin, it's a lot more equal. 87% of Bitcoins are owned by 1% of the network. And this is really because of how inaccessible Bitcoin mining is. The Pi Network was able to solve this issue by making mining super accessible to the average person. And you and I get to mine Pi just by using our phone. And I really do believe that we're in the very start of something incredible. Whether or not this thing will be the next Bitcoin is still undetermined. But the interest I see from people wanting to learn more about this topic is just astounding. Make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will make sure to update you guys on new Pi information when I hear about them. Make sure to check out some of my free offers in my description. And like always, I'll see you guys again next time.